Good day, everyone. So, I just want to talk a bit about the channel today, especially for people that are new to the channel. So, you guys can have a bit of context as to what types of content you can experience. And then I also want to talk about a specific comment in one of my videos, generally, the types of things you should do when commenting. And then I'll obviously also respond now publicly to this person as well, because I think it will be quite interesting and it will also help you, especially if you're new to the channel, to sort of navigate videos and stuff just before you comment. So, let's get into it. My channel is primarily catered towards the casual Genshin Impact audience. In fact, my highest number of views that I've gotten in Genshin Impact is literally me sabotaging a slime balloon with Kokomi for 16 seconds. Don't believe me, it is literally right here. You can go and see it. It says here, Kokomi Mains, that one daily commission we all love, 850,000 views. It is absolutely insane. Me walking on water with Kokomi, 284,000 views, and that is literally the definition of being as casual as you can be. So a lot of the time we do stuff, we comment on the story, we go through the events, we play the Spiral Abyss in a funky way. Let's say we're doing Cryo Xiangling, something silly. This is casual content. A very few of my videos actually cater to the meta, with like the theory of a meta heavy crowd. Basically, there are videos where we discuss, for instance, stuff like Genshin Impact's damage equation, and this is, of course, one of my sort of representations on it. I do understand all the maths, but when you talk to people and when you want to introduce stuff to them, you also need to pitch it at a level that someone that presumably does not know about it can easily get their hands or like sink their teeth into. That's generally how I try to pitch things, almost like in a conversational style and so on. But generally, this content is very unsuccessful on my channel, and it's not because of misinformation, it's just because of lack of interest from people. The other big thing on my channel is we've got obviously a lot of C6R5 characters, so obviously the game in Genshin Impact plays a bit differently. Once you're at the C6R5 level, the conventional rules that apply in the theory crafting F2P meta world don't always apply at the whale sort of level, and for this sort of reason I've got two accounts. In Genshin Impact, I've got a low spender account, which is actually my friend's account that I've taken over for her, and then I've got my main account. And the purpose of having two accounts is to be able to relate to the casual, more F2P audience, to showcase some stuff. And then obviously on my main account, this is just me being me. And so obviously some of our content is pitched at the whale level, C6R5 clears, whether it's the duo runs, whether we just sort of do the Spiral Abyss in under 2 minutes. Some videos like that are exclusively catered for this. It's mostly like show off, if you really want to put it like that. And then finally, the last bit of content is stuff like the expert level content, the solo no damage runs, my latest run on the Elemental Mastery and just using the completely free to play teams. That's a very difficult team comp to run and so on. And it's not something that people really appreciate, but the way the expert content is sort of pitched is to try and recontextualize the game for you. So basically, you start off as a casual, we all understand. You get into the theory, you learn about elemental gauge theory, you complain with everyone on Yellen being nerfed from 1.5 units to 1 unit. So you understand this world, or you might be someone that started out casually but then progressed to whale, and you will eventually develop an understanding of the game. You'll develop a way of thinking, of rotations, of spreadsheets. This is completely normal, but at some point you'll get to a point where you look at everything, you look back at your entire Genshin Impact experience, and you want to recontextualize all your experience by looking at the game in a different way. So this is where we do funky things, where we break the rules of the meta, where we literally do things out of order. We mess around with rotations to respond dynamically to the battlefield and so on. This is where the real fun content in Genshin is, in my opinion. This is the level that I typically play at. And playing at this level is by no means a way of looking down on anyone else. It's just a different way of experiencing the game, of saying, you know what, I understand the rules. I perfectly know the Genshin Impact damage equation really well, and that's why I'm going to mess with it in ways that'll still be funny and that hopefully can teach you guys also something about the game in terms of how you need to think about how you need to move, etc., etc. And that's why we often do make discussions, like for instance with Yai Miko, where we discuss some of the more practical things that people don't always really factor in. They just want to factor in the damage and so on. And that's the more expert level content. But yeah, that is the channel that I can sort of explain. And I think what's quite important is when you engage with me on the channel, you'll obviously go into the comment section. And the big thing that I always want to encourage people is to always search across the channel. So don't just assume I don't know something. Look it up on the channel, use very simplistic keywords. My titles are very simplistic. So if you want to look up something like damage equation, or just like damage, you will see there's a video which says something about Genshin's damage. I think it's something like this, Genshin damage. And there you go, there's the Genshin 101 sort of video. So never make like assumptions about what I do or do not know. Check on the channel if you can see it, and then whether you can verify that some of that knowledge is accurate and so on before commenting. Because if someone comments and oh yeah, by the way, my apologies to Hirabiki VR, because I accidentally commented here when I was supposed to comment right here. When someone says to me, your video is full of misinformation, you don't understand how Shenhe's quills work, the way that damage is calculated in Genshin is in this order, it's like an entire slap in the face. Because if you look at the channel and you go like Shenhe, you suddenly see like we've done Shenhe analysis videos, we've sort of dig our teeth into it. We've got a C6R5 Shenhe as well. If you don't believe me, here is our C6, there's the R5, C6R5 Triple Crown Shenhe. You best believe it, I know how this character works. I really understand everything. I understand how she works with Ayaka. I know everything about this character. So when I get these funky little comments where people say you don't know this, you don't know, it's like it's almost like insulting in a certain sense, because all you need to do is just click on the channel, search for what you need to know, and then you understand. So a lot of the times when people don't watch my videos, when they deliberately just comment based off the title, expect me to not be on my best behavior, and don't expect some of my moderators to also be kind to you. I've also instructed them to just look at some of these comments, and if they are clearly being silly, then to just then delete them. So stuff like this is just wrong on all different aspects. And if you're quite curious to understand what's happening here, basically I made a video explaining that Ayaka's elemental burst snapshots, but not every single talent or ability or artifact or whatever in the game can actually be snapshotted. So if you look at someone like Shenhe and you look at her ability right here, this talent, this does not snapshot. After it expires, you can clearly see like a drop in like the damage. It's the same here with Raiden Shogun. Where's Raiden? Raiden Shogun's E does not snapshot. The cool thing about it is it lasts for like 25 seconds, so you don't really need to worry about it. But you can definitely, it definitely is in there. If you try to cast her E ability, wait for 20 seconds, cast Xiangling's Pyronado, and you just sort of look at it in a vacuum, you'll see that Pyronado's damage is going to drop, and that's because this thing does not snapshot. That's just sort of how this works in Genshin Impact. This is what we can see if we go onto the Genshin wiki, which you'll see right now, and you go right here and you go to snapshotting. All you need to do is you just need to go here to where it says you just need to go to talents, and you will see here there is the direct elemental burst damage bonus. And if you read the definition, it is as simple as saying here, buffs that do not modify the damage to this attribute and instead directly apply to real-time damage calculations. These buffs are completely unaffected by snapshotting. This is a separate concept from static and can coexist with them. And that's all I wanted to sort of point out in my video. Basically here is that if you want more information, click on this article, but basically there are instances where you can't just snapshot everything. And the reason why I made a video like this is to explain to people that you can't just always use the familiar example of Bennett Xiangling and think you understand snapshotting. It's way more complicated. So let's use Ayaka and Shen as an example, and let me show you via the passives how this kind of works. And then people just sort of want to debate, and like I said, like go and read the wiki article. But people just want to go and debate and debate and debate, and it's like Shenna's passive is not dynamic. Ayaka still snapshots that. It's like, yeah, come on, dude. It's literally written here on a wiki. If you want to go and argue, literally go and here it says. There is like all the it says here direct the damage bonus, elemental skill, and elemental burst damage. It's on the wiki. It says here what it is. It's like it's direct. They do not modify. They are unaffected by snapshotting. It's like, ugh. These things like really irritate me with comments and so on, but I think it's a good example of how not to comment. So yeah, that's why I sort of want to point this out, and there is my response to this person as well. And yes, of course, thank you Polyhedron for always keeping us honest and also correcting this person. It's also kind of like one of the MVPs in the comment section, always also helping people and so on. So I also appreciate that. And yeah, guys, that is it from what I have to say. So yeah, be polite in the comment section. I've obviously got my own comment section guidelines, so always just acknowledge those, and then also understand the types of content we mostly cater for. Mostly we just mess around. That's what we are for on this channel. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully you get your Ayakas and you will get a stronger account. She is absolutely lovely, just like Kokomi and like Yai and like all my favorite characters. So yeah, this is Genshin Impact. It is just a casual game for us all to enjoy. Cheers.